the world, we have no other choice. Seichi Shinka! Seichi Thinmon! Shinka no mi, Shiranai Uchi ni, Kachigumi Jinsei. Comedic RPG isekai, probably aha, any tending to be light. Designs more to the simple. I can't say they are the worst. I certainly don't keep thinking they are a direct copy of others, as in Shumatsu no Ha, but they aren't wonderful. Could be just visual preference letting me accept something pretty common as better than it is, but it really doesn't feel particularly bad. The visual execution is pretty basic. Don't expect anything wonderfully well done. We'll have basic mistakes, like the man's head floating over his fatter body, or the expression meant to be kawaii on the gorilla being very noticeable for not being for that version of the character. It's not so terrible that's going to distract you. I just feel as if nothing really good or really bad happened visually. Story? It's an RPG isekai. The only thing that's not so common is the presence of more than one chosen one, but not even that is a first for me. And in that, at least the main one was a spider. Here you have everything you'd expect and nothing more. And it's not even fun, because the anime sense of humor seems to be pointing at someone and laughing at their face, which usually doesn't really work well for me. We start with our main already in the new world, watching a naked girl wake up and throw herself at him lovingly. Normally, I just say,
I feel like, we should start our stories where they begin, not start them where they get interested. Get out.
But here it seems to be an attempt to keep the audience interested with the promise of E. This certainly is more interesting than the rest of the episode, but they abuse it. And plenty. We're going to finish the episode without reaching this point, and it's absurdly obvious how we'll get to it. Meaning, if they didn't do this and cut a bit of the dead time, our two first episodes could likely be won without much difficulty. But no, we have to stretch. Because the pectoral promise will pay for the deprivation of product. Then we're back and see he suffered bullying while his head was floating over a fat body. And it's pretty fake, but as you've noticed, they increase the damage to him even if it doesn't look real. So we have barely animated students and that just mess with him as if it's nothing. But he's fallen on the floor with scars from being attacked. It's basically an anime version of that scene from Karate Kids. Not to be confused with Karate Kid 4, the reboot didn't stick. Then, a voice in the speaker, sounding like the statue from Hyakuman, but with a better presence, ironically for not being present, forces the teens to move with no animation. It's almost as if the rot of that broken body had to go somewhere and ended up going to the animation. So, they're going to be isekai'd, they're given time to choose groups so it's easier, but they'll show they're all sent to the same place. No, you don't understand. It's worse. At this point, later on the episode, they say only he was taken somewhere else and that these are his friends, only they attend a different school. So, how would they know only their friend had been taken? They happened to be visiting the school that instant? Or was there an announcement?
Attention, attention. The main guy is in another place.
But if he's in another place, then I shouldn't. Before seeing where the others went, I thought they had turned into these monkeys that seem to have too much personality, read hairstyles, to not be extras. Maybe it's due to me already seeing they had cardboard for character, they make medicine and have some evolution fruit. So for a second, I thought it was that kind of fantasy where the guy is bullied for being the only one that develops, while the rest would have turned to beasts. But that's gonna happen another way. The alchemist monkeys with incredible items leave it all for him to use, and then he eats the evolution fruit and starts to get more and more skills. This is one of the jokes. He goes through immense pain to lose his fat while evolving, in the most standard of scales, apparently. And it's supposed to be funny that he contorts in pain. Just like the fruit that gives you power, having a bad taste is supposed to be a joke. Wow! Never saw that before. But there, it's not for barfing. It's not pleasant, but I'll do it for power. Looks a lot better than I'll spit it out because it tastes bad. We see them, and then that he does this for 5 months. And they seem to have stayed there, still, all this time, just waiting to be relevant to the story. At least for a few hours, though I wouldn't be surprised if they stood for 5 months, as Cardboard might. But then he has to face the female gorilla, who falls in love with him, because it's supposed to be funny watching him suffer in the hands of an anthropophilic monster. I mean, I think that'd be the opposite of Zoo. We see many kawaii expressions that, like his head on the fat body, seem to be hovering because they're not the gorillas. Clearly, we'll spend more time with her as a girl, so it's too much work to design the character as a gorilla too. And even if they had, the second someone saw that flower, they'd know she'll turn into the girl with the flower from the start. And it ends before solving anything. He's caught to marry the gorilla, and I was honestly surprised there was no snoo-snoo joke yet. And that's it. Half a chapter stretched with bad jokes over a generic isekai background. Pretty lame.